Hi, my name is Anja, and I'm a part of the Teen Arts Council, and today we're here doing an artist interview, and I'm with my co-host.
My name is Luke. I'm also in the TSC, and we're interviewing.
Hi, my name is Igshaan Adams. I'm an artist from Cape Town, South Africa.
Do you want to tell us a little bit more about your work and your practice?
The way I start with each exhibition is I know how I'm going to feel when I stand in front of the work or within the work. So before this work was ever conceptualized, I knew what I would feel when I'm here standing in front of it, looking at it, and that's kind of the feeling. Then the process then becomes, how do I achieve that through the materials? Then I go out in the world, of course using materials that I am familiar with and that I've been using, but then if necessary, I would go out and find something new to help me achieve a certain sensibility within the surface and the details, and ultimately the feeling that it impresses on the viewer.
So when it comes to displaying your work, how do you imagine your audience interacting with it and your art?
Well, in this one in particular?
Any work, or this one?
I think for each project, it's probably a little bit different. Like I said, I've done performances where it has a very immediate kind of impression. Maybe one of the performances that stand out would be with my dad, where he washes and prepares my body in the Islamic ritual as if I was dead. And we all have parents, and I think most of us anyway have issues with our parents, And so people could relate to that very strongly. And so there was a very immediate and direct experience because we are using our bodies in performance. Whereas with certain installations, I hope that people would have this first impression, but then would go and think about it afterwards, that it will stay with them, and that they it would kind of nag at them for a while afterwards, that it lingers within their system and minds, and would then want to know more. Because I don't always feel like it matters to me whether or not people access the meaning. If they've had a kind of a superficial experience, I guess, with appreciating the beauty, I'm fine with that. But I feel there will be people who are intrigued enough that they would want to know more, and it's in that point that I would like to share information about how I've come to see the world, or about a particular issue.
So you talked a bit about your process. So what is your creative process from the conceptualization of a piece to its finished form?
So with this work, I started out, like I said, with the idea and the feeling. So I used Google Earth first and kind of explore the territory that I grew up in, and looking at spaces closest or spaces that I would have spent a lot of time in. And then I found this particular pathways between two sports fields. And so I wanted this work to be obviously fantastical because of this pink tone, and it's this pink landscape. So it is a real map, but it's also hopefully taken into a more fantasy realm. And for myself, what I hoped this work would do for me was to kind of speak to a younger version of myself, who was this soft little queer boy who was just completely out of place in that environment. The environment was, it was about being, a strong man, was aggressive and violent and played sports and all the typical thing that one imagine is valued as being a man. I didn't fit any of those. I was way too sensitive and soft, and I had to harden up in order to survive that period in my life. And of course, there was at this point in my life, I do feel like, what if that environment was happy to have me as I am, rather than try to change me into what I'm supposed to be? What if that environment appreciated my creativity early on and the sensitivity that comes with that? So yeah, it is maybe trying to heal that side of me.
So, how do you come up with ideas for your work? Can you take us through your process from start to finish?
I dream about them. I wake up early morning and it's there, and I have a feeling and a sense, and it's often vague, and I have to bring it into focus by sketching and painting or Photoshop or going into the shops and touching materials, but it builds, and slowly the image becomes in focus. But it often starts in a dream, or I wake up early morning in this kind of between wake and asleep moments, and I think this is probably where most of my... The other day in this week, on Tuesday morning, I was up at 5, and there was a show in my head, and I just sketched it out, and so that's often, it's just I don't know where it comes from. It's there, and then you have to kind of grab hold of it before it disappears, before it leaves your system. But to add on to that does happen, but of course I also have my own agenda, I think it's this marriage. I always talk about I have an agenda, but then the artwork itself has its own agenda, and it's trying to bring the two together too. Sometimes I have these early morning moments, and then in other times I have a very clear agenda of this is the issue that I at this moment want to address and speak about and pursue. So it's not necessarily only that one way of work coming into existence.
I think we're going to move into our lightning round of questions now. So I'm just going to ask some shorter kind of fun questions. Yeah. So.
Okay, so first one, what is your favorite snack?
My go-to snack, cookies and tea. Yeah, chocolate cookies. Oh, sorry, and peanut butter and jam. Peanut butter and jelly, I think you call it.
Cats or dogs?
Cats, for sure. Absolutely. 100%. I'm definitely a cat person. Always have been.
Do you prefer hot or cold weather?
I don't know anybody who likes cold weather. This weather is not for me. I definitely prefer... Also not too hot, I guess. My partner say I'm like Goldilocks, not too hot, not too cold.
Thank you, Igshaan,
Thank you.
for talking to us.
It's a
This is
pleasure.
the Teen Arts Council signing off.